Awesome. Good. Okay. Welcome to another session here about the AWS Cloud Project by Pipeline Builder showcase session. With me, I have William Maina, who has been doing this project for the last 3 weeks. My name is Kevin Tui. I'm an AWS community builder, as well as an AWS certified academy educator. So today we're going to be taken through by William about what he was able to do and achieve in terms of this project. I believe there must be a lot of learning, and yeah, I can't wait. So William, take it away, and over to you. You can introduce yourself. Then after that, you can automatically just share your screen and tell us what you are able to achieve over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Once again, my name is William Maina. I'm an AWS enthusiast, also a cloud enthusiast. Yeah, and also I've been experimenting with AWS, learning from AWS in about like almost 2 years now since I began it. Also, I've done the CCP, that is the Cloud Practitioner certification. Yeah, so that's a short story about me. Yeah. So
Awesome.
as you have been told, the last 3 weeks I've been doing a project task for creating a analytic service that is for Clickstream for analyzing traffic in our website. Just the way we have like many analytics services in various websites like Google Analytics. So in AWS, we can build such one with leveraging some of the AWS services. Yeah. So let me share my screen. Or showcase templates. Confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, your screen is loading. It is loading. Then yeah, we can see your screen. Thank you.
Thank you. So welcome again. So in this project, we are building a data pipeline to support analyzing clickstream data with AWS. So in terms of how can you, let's say if you have a website, how do you want it to track your usage? Like how many people have visited that website? Like how many countries or from which regions are these people visiting your websites? So things like that will help us know where in particular can we know this data, the source of this data is coming from. So in this project, I'm just going to showcase the various steps I took, what I've learned, challenges I encountered. Yeah, and also maybe at the end of the session, I can show some of the demonstration on the AWS Management Console. Yeah, so on the next part. So on the business scenario, the problem statement of this cafe website, we have a company called Any Cafe that sells their cafe and dessert items through their website, which is hosted on AWS. This cafe company has cafe shops in multiple cities around the world. The cafe company is encountering some of the challenges in getting the required amount of traffic data from users around the world and their location. This challenge may have a negative impact on their sales. Some of the challenges they may be encountering are maybe the owner is having difficulty in knowing how people are interacting with their website, the number of users and the cities, the source of this data, where the city, i.e. like the cities where this data is coming from. So let's say this company is having their website they are having multiple shops, right, around the world. We can have maybe like one in North America, South America, other in Asia, like that. So in order to make this business thrive, they have set up these shops around the world with the help of this website. So they're having this challenge of, where are these users coming from? How can I get the location of a particular user and their region, in order to know which region have the highest orders? I can maybe adjust in that location to maybe improve my sales. Yeah. So that's the problem statement. On the solution requirements, in order to achieve this, basically we have hosted our website, the Dynamic Cafe website, on AWS, particularly on the EC2 server. So it will be easy to conceptualize what is needed. Some of the solution requirements that can address the challenges are, first of all, we need to go according to the well-architected framework to come up with that solution. So I think the number one thing we can consider is costs. In terms of cost, how can we ensure that this service or this solution is cost effective in terms of the AWS services that we're gonna use? Number two is, once we have come up with a cost estimate, how can we now be able to transform these services we have come up with this cost? How can we be able to ingest how can we be able to ingest and transform the data from using these services that we have just counted using the cost calculator, in order to help us come up with this solution of ingesting and transforming data. Once we ingest the log data, that is the log data which has the user data location, right, IP addresses, how can we now ingest that log data from the Cafe website and store the data in the log file? So this log file will just hold the data containing all the information about a particular user or particular users from all over the world, which will be held in this log file. Later, the solution should now simulate the required log data with all the required fields for our solution to work effectively. Later, we need to analyze the incoming simulated log data from the Cafe website from different users around the world and visualize the data in CloudWatch, right? So basically, once you have gathered the data, right, now how can the cafe owner, maybe the cafe owner isn't much familiar with the backend services or the tools. Maybe in an easy way, how can he or she transform that data for easy understanding? And that's where he or she can understand well in terms of dashboards. In such a feature, we can have the CloudWatch dashboard supporting such a service, supporting such scenarios. So in terms of, we can have maybe that data can be represented in terms of graphs, pie charts, or even logs table. Yeah. Later, once it is generated on a dashboard, on these dashboards like pie charts, then the cafe owner will make informed decision. And it will guide the cafe owner effectively on the best decisions he or she can make in order to improve the cafe sales from multiple cities around the world. So basically, that's the solution requirements. Moving over to the solution overview. But this is just a narrow, but in the solution overview, I will demonstrate it in the AWS console. So in this, I will just build I built a data pipeline to support analyzing clickstream data from the Cafe website, which is on AWS. The Cafe owner will view how users from different parts around the world are interacting with the website. So on the design considerations, for me, the best design consideration I choose, first of all, is the CloudWatch. CloudWatch, so we can be able to work with the CloudWatch agent, which can work well in the web servers. The CloudWatch agent can able to gather the required logs, in which it will be able to collect the required logs in terms of clickstream data from the Café website. Also, the logs will be stored in the CloudWatch log group. Later, the logs will be used to generate insights and improve the outputs in the automated CloudWatch dashboard. So I think CloudWatch works best for this use case scenario. Also, again, also since the Café website would be running on EC2, we can integrate the Cloud9 with that EC2 in order to have better management of the whole overview of our solution, including the log files and also the scripts that are installed on the EC2, in which you can be able to effectively manage the CloudWatch agent, which will be responsible for collecting the required logs in order to collect the clickstream data from the Café website. Also, once we have collected the logs, maybe we want to back up. We can use S3 to store these log files or this log data later for analysis and query, right? So although we can store the logs are stored in CloudWatch metrics, we can also back them for future retrieval, in which these logs we can store them for later review. And it is easy for S3 since we can query it using SQL to get the required output. Also, we have the IAM role, which came with the lab, which was already configured with the EC2 instance for granting EC2 permissions like to access the CloudWatch. Next, on the use case, the Café owner will be able to have a visual dashboard showing analytics data represented in widgets such as pie charts, bar charts, and logs table. The following is what is to be represented. As I've already described earlier, we represent cities visiting the menu the most, cities placing the most orders. We have regions visiting the website the most, and also regions placing the most orders. So basically, we can have you can view it like when we have a Café menu, our Café website, we have in that menu page, we have various parts. We can have the menu part, we can have the order part, order history, contacts page, right? So all these services will be gathered somewhere, in which this is what will be needed to represent to the Café owner. Next, also the services that will be used to effectively carry out this project. We have the Amazon CloudWatch. This is an AWS service which enables the collection and visualization of log data in dashboards so as to streamline application and infrastructure monitoring. Number two, we have EC2, Amazon EC2. So we can integrate the EC2 with the Cloud9 environment, in which our Café website will be run here. And also the Cloud9 will be able to configure the CloudWatch agent residing in the web server. We have S3, which will act as a backup for logs to S3 from CloudWatch log group. We have the Amazon VPC, or Virtual Private Cloud. It's a virtual network that you define, in which you can launch AWS resources in. We have the role for EC2. So the EC2 will assume permissions from these policies in the role. So this is my architecture diagram. So it's just a demonstration. So basically we have this, we have VPC, we have public subnet, we have a EC2 instance residing in a public subnet. Then we have the Cloud9 environment, which is already integrated with our EC2. Then EC2 will assume roles. Basically, I guess we'll assume roles for working with CloudWatch and S3. Once the user will interact with the website, or different users interact with this website, which is hosted on this EC2, these logs are collected and sent to CloudWatch. CloudWatch log, basically, I think it's a CloudWatch log group. Once they are sent into the log group, we can query them accordingly, maybe according to them where users maybe they are interacting with the menu the most, maybe from a particular city. We can query them later, visualize them in the metric insights. And also we can back up the logs data to S3. Later we can query that backup into the CloudWatch metrics tab. Yeah. Also on the next part, I will demonstrate on the architecture. Sorry for that. On the demo materials, I've demonstrated the architecture diagram. Then we have the calculator. I will show the various services. Sorry for that. So some of the challenges I encountered, I can say I encountered a challenge when working with the log insights to run a query where I had to use the previous two results of the query to get the new. I think that's in phase 6, task 3. I think that's the main issue I had with this project. But basically with the AWS documentation, it helped me overcome the challenge. Another challenge I encountered is integrating the two files, one log file for the access log and the geolocation. So we have the initial access log, which came with the web server, and also the new geolocation file provided with the lab. So it was a challenge when integrating the two to have all the required data. So I think the various commands, we have to be very familiar with Linux to work effectively when dealing with the web server. So helpful resources in this project were the LucidApp, that is basically for coming up with the architecture diagram. We have the AWS calculator. It will be easier for you to estimate various resources. Let me pause for so thank you. Also, let me resume. So the AWS calculator will help me come up with the various cost estimate for various services that I'm going to use in the project. Then we have the AWS documentation. I think this is the most powerful resource for coming up with for providing with the detailed when working with CloudWatch, maybe when working with the CloudWatch log insights, it was very effective for running those queries. Also, we have community forums such as Stack Overflow and Google. It helped me come up with this project. New skills that I learned how to work with the CloudWatch agent. This is just basically like you just install it on the web server. So I learned how to work with it so that it can send logs to this log group. I learned how to use the log insights to run queries and learn logs. Also, I learned how to operate with the Apache Web Server directory structure where the access and error logs are sent to the web server. So basically, the Cafe website runs on the Apache web server. So it's important for you to be familiar with the web server in order for you to have the access and error directory structure in order for you to operate it effectively. Also, in terms of, I learned how to query data stored in S3 using SQL. So basically, when you back up the data in S3, it will be easy for you to query particular data in terms of particular fields using SQL. I think that's presented my slides to end there, and thank you for that. So let me show my AWS calculator cost estimate. Let's see here. I don't know if it's visible.
Yes, yeah, you can zoom in further and
Well, I use
maybe
the
maximize.
CSV one.
It's okay, you can use this one. So you just continue zooming a bit. Yeah, so you can maximize this. Yeah, I think it's fine now. Yeah, it is good now. You can go on. Thank you.
So I estimated the various services there is. So we choose no upfront cost. No upfront cost. We have it will be based on the monthly costs, and also it will calculate on the 12 months spend usage, in which this is the total amount and the monthly amount. So on my detailed estimate, we have the EC2, which runs on North Virginia, US Eastern region. So no upfront cost, and the monthly cost is around 19 USD. So this is the configuration summary. We have it runs on Linux, shared instances. It runs on one instance. Advanced, it is at T3.medium. Also, the pricing is 1 year, just for 1 year, no upfront. Disabled monitoring, and that's the basically. So on this pricing option, I chose the EC2 savings plan, since it is a one instance, and it gives me a 72% discount. On the second service is the Amazon Simple Storage Service, or S3. So basically, I estimated that it can store around 500 megabytes of logs per month. Data scanned or query, we can, using S3 select, that is query, we can estimate on around 0.5 gigabytes per month. Then the same data that can be returned, I can estimate 0.5, or it can be less than this. Then this get objects, put copy lists requests to S3 standard. Average says I chose the 16 megabytes. So basically, S3 doesn't have much details. For the CloudWatch, this is where it runs. It runs most of the services, since we have the number of metrics. You can have detailed or custom. I chose 4. Then expected logs data scanned, I chose 0.5 gigabytes. Standard logs ingested, that's coming in, it's around, let's say, 0.5 or less. Then this data transfer to the CloudWatch. CloudWatch log dashboard, we can have less than 0.5 gigabits. Then data logs to S3, data logs delivered to S3, data ingested, we can have maybe 0.002, that's around 2 MB. Yeah, for the dashboard, it's one that basically it's no cost for dashboards. Basically, that's my estimate. So I think now I can go to the console demonstration. So let me first start with the CloudWatch. So we want to view how can we be able to get the required data. How can we be able to display this data, which is in the dashboards. How can we be able to view this data? Where we can have cities visiting the menu the most. We can have cities placing orders the most. We have regions visiting the website the most, and also regions placing data the most. So first I will start by opening our web cafe, which is running on EC2. First I will open the EC2. So let me copy the public IP address and do some query and paste it. So this is the cafe website. You have the menu page, we have the home page, about us, contact menu, and the order history. So this is basically the home page. Let me try to purchase an order. So let me just choose this. Let me submit the order. You can see now it is already confirmed that the order will be available for 15 minutes. So I guess now this data, whatever we are operating here inside the cafe, it is now stored in this data now. Whatever is happening is already captured in the CloudWatch agent. So let me go to Amazon S3. No, let me first go to CloudWatch to view the incoming log data. So that logs is stored in the logs tab in the log group. So it's in the Apache Access log group. Click on the log stream. So you can see we have a lot of data incoming. I don't know if it's visible.
It's quite small. Maybe you can zoom your browser, like that part where you
Okay.
usually zoom the browser.
So
Yeah, now it
let me
makes a
go
bit
to
small.
the latest query. This one here. So you can see it's collecting it's happening on this time. For this time, it's in UTC, I guess. So on this date time, the action you performed on this file structure and also the browser. Don't know if I can capture for the geolocation. But I know it's basically this. This is where the logs are stored and captured. So for the log insights, how do you want to query a particular? We want now to get the results of this data. Let's say you want to get the number of users. So basically, first you go to the log insights, go to this field here. It's called the log insights. I don't know if it's this part. So you just enter your query, then you save. Right. So since I had already done, since they had already saved mine, it's in here in the query. So I will now I want to get the people who purchased, right? So let me go to the instruction first. Phase 6, maybe you want to get the number of users who accessed the main. Right? So basically, you just insert this query inside this part. So people visited the menu. This is the menu visitors. So you can see, just insert it and save. Then you run the query. Then it will run the query in this app. Make sure you select the log group, which contains that log data. So, and also choose the time threshold. Visit for the last 1 hour or the last 2 weeks. So since I've already redone the project in this week, so I can just select 1 week. Or if you want a detailed, you can choose the absolute, including the date and the time, but I will go with the relative. Then I apply. Then I run the query. You can see now it has returned the data of the people who have visited the menu the most. So this is the data. It's a lot. Also, you can just repeat the same procedure for visit who had the most purchase in the purchase part. You just run the query, select the time period, the last 1 week, or basically if it's in production, if it's a production site, you can select more than this. It can be months, or you can go to the absolute, select when it started and the latest. So you just apply, then you run the query. So now it returns that log data, including the visitors and the timestamp who made the purchases. But for this part, don't know if Kevin, you're able to do that part.
Which part?
Task 3, determine the number of visitors who accessed the menu but didn't make a purchase. I had difficulties in this login.
In setting up that query or what?
Yeah.
Okay, no worries. Once we're done with the presentation, we're going to go through the whole lab. Maybe, I don't know if it's going to be in this session, but or after. But we're going to go through end to end and do that kind of a walkthrough.
Okay. So on the phase 7, since you have already gathered the required data, now it's time now how can we now generate insights from this data in terms of graphs or pie charts. So basically, we should have for the task one, basically we'll have a visual dashboard to gain insight. The dashboard should contain a pie chart that shows 10 cities that had most of the website visitors. We have a log table that shows the 10 cities that had the most website visitors who made a purchase. We have a pie chart. 10 shows the 10 regions that had the most website visitors who accessed the main page of the website, and also a bar chart that shows the 10 regions that had the most website visitors but who made a purchase. So this is just a detailed step of explanation of working with the log files. So the task starts at task 3. So visualizing, first you build a dashboard. So you go to the dashboards part, then you create a dashboard. Since I had already mined the Cafe dashboard, we just select it here. And basically just insert the required, just add the required parts. For if it's a pie chart for that shows the cities that have the most website visitors, you just use this part using the following query. And also this query contains the remote IP and the city. It will return the IP and the city. In this, it will query the following script inside this directory structure. Then it will count menu popular by city. Then it will arrange them starting from the numbers with the highest to the lowest that is descending. Then we have been told to limit by 10, which is in that instruction. We want it to show the 10 by 10. We want to limit it by 10. So you use the 10 limit. So since I already created it, that's how you create it. Then you rename it as cities visiting the menu the most. So I will basically go to that part. So it is this one here. So I will select it based on the time threshold. I want it to be like 1 week. Then it will display it by itself by graphs. So you can see here, we can have now the detailed about. So we can have now it have already selected it by, we can have by cities, we have London, those by. So you can see we have the minimum, maximum, and the average. Yeah. So basically, this is the dashboard for cities visiting menu the most. If you want to, for the next part, if you want to, for the second widget, cities placing orders the most. So we will query this file inside this, the process order.php page. So the most orders, and we have been told to save it in logs table. Cities placing most the orders. Basically, this is it. Just to repeat the same procedure as you had before, but this time we use the log table. So it will just display in terms of like rows and columns. So it will display the city and the number of users who came up with this. So basically that's what will be presented here. For that we'll have the regions visiting website the most. So it will now categorize regions that are visiting most website the most. So we have like England, Ohio, like that. So it will present this in this widget in a pie chart. For the fourth widget, using a bar chart, regions placing the most orders, we will have this. We just repeat the same procedure, but this time we use the region space. So we have like England, or it will now basically stored in this bar chart. So saving the log file to S3 bucket. So since our log file is basically in this directory, we now CP to back up this. We are told to save the log file, so we might use the AWS CLI for S3. We use the CP command to back up this log file to S3. We'll copy it to S3 bucket. Once it is there, I will just head to my S3 bucket. Since I'd already done that, I just head over to S3 and perform some query. This is the log name of the bucket. We just enter in the bucket. Then this is the log file that we backed up in this bucket. So to view the metadata, we just select the log file, then go to the Actions tab, then select query with the S3 select. So you can choose different formats such as CSV or JSON. Yeah, various formats according to you, but then enter your query here. Enter your S3 query. So basically you just put it just run it here. But I will use the default which is already provided. Just run the SQL. You can see now it returns the results. You can have like JSON format. Yeah. You can see now it all includes even the regions and the cities. Yeah, basically that's what I was able to do with that. So I think that's the end of the lab session. Don't know if there is any question.
That is nice. Congratulations for a very nice and well detailed lab and project. That is what you're able to do. So maybe I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
Maybe we can start with your architecture. Maybe you can go to the architecture diagram, then you go to the cost estimator, then we'll finish up with maybe some questions on the demo.
Okay.
Yeah, so good. So yeah, so congratulations for that. And I believe you realize that I think you mentioned a number of times that you didn't know about the power of CloudWatch and its ability to help you gain a lot of insights. And you can see even log insights are actually a new feature in CloudWatch logs. Yes, so and it is helpful in so many areas apart from website, clickstream data analytics. It is also used in security. You realize that it's very important to have the skill of trying to analyze logs, especially in this day of data science, data analytics, and it's going to really help you do a lot. So the most important thing that I will maybe will revolve around my questions would be the well-architected framework. And we already know if you're talking about any AWS architecture, you're thinking about how can you design an architecture that follows the well-architected framework in terms of maybe performance efficiency, operational excellence, security, name them. So, so maybe you can scroll it down a bit.
In my architecture.
Yes, yeah. So here we are, and maybe you can take us through and tell us maybe what what do you think? Okay, we have the I think the instance that is holding the website, right?
Yes.
So in terms of with the well-architected framework in mind, how do you think that this architecture can be improved in any area, whether it is availability, whether it is operational excellence, whether it is cost saving, or cost optimization or cost efficiency? Just tell us, what do you think can be improved in terms of this? We know it was all for the
Okay.
purpose of learning on clickstream data analytics. But as an enthusiast and as a person who wants to become a reliable solutions architect, you should always be obsessed. You should have that customer obsession, and the customer wants to have their site as available as possible. They also want they don't want their bill to be as high as nothing else. They just want it to pay as much as is enough for them to have a solution. So maybe you can take us through and tell us, maybe I would remove these and put these, I would stick with these, I would do this and that and that. So that is my question regarding this architecture.
Okay. So in terms of the architecture, first of all, but this is just for them in terms of if it's in our production. So I would include the VPC. Then in terms of in terms of high availability or reliability, I can choose the 2 or more availability zones. So inside these availability zones, I will place the public subnets and the private subnets. So in terms of securing this architecture or this my application, I know it's not best recommended to place the EC2 instance in a public subnet. So this instance, it will require for it to be in a private subnet maybe, so that it will be able to send these logs to CloudWatch. Then later, for user to be able to access this, we can have a NAT in a public subnet. Then from a public subnet, from NAT to send to private subnets, which already holds our EC2 instance. Then for S3, for our bucket, we can use for securing our logs. We can use can encrypt our bucket using KMS for security purposes, although by default it's already encrypted, but it's better to encrypt it using KMS. Also for our log data, it's best to protect it. And also for cost effective, I think it's it's cost effective in terms of the required data. Since we are running only queries and storing logs to S3 and running our EC2 instance. So we can choose a T3 medium. T3 medium since we want to access via the Cloud9, I think T3.medium will be able to access it. Will enable to have access to our instance. Yeah. For security and also for permissions, we assigned our EC2. Our EC2 is already assigned permissions to assume these permissions side there. I guess these are like for CloudWatch access and S3. Yeah. I don't know where I can improve else.
I don't know that you mentioned about maybe for S3 you need to have like some retention, and maybe something like intelligent tiering,
or in terms of cost efficiency, I can implement S3 intelligent tiering.
Intelligent tiering, yeah. so that you can easily move the log files, because then maybe you can have, instead maybe of just thinking about medium instance, maybe you can have a much smaller instance, and maybe once you have that instance, you can create a golden AMI, and maybe do a launch template, put it in have a target group, and have a load balancer, and then maybe you can have, let's say, a metric around CPU utilization, and then maybe you'll save more on cost because you'll have a smaller instance instead of having that one large instance. And then again, maybe you can even go further and think about, can we do this serverless, or can we use maybe containerization? What else can we do? Can we use Fargate and all these kind of things, just to ensure that maybe the user is only paying for what they're using, instead of having the instance running through. You can even think, if it's only a static website, can it be hosted on S3? If it's but if it's dynamic, yes, you wanted to say something?
No, just continue.
Okay. Yeah, so, and if it's dynamic, maybe you can consider other compute options that would make it available. Then again, there's also the aspect of looking at regions and using things such as CloudFront, and then again leveraging KMS for security to encrypt your log files or your data. You already have that. Maybe you can also have, for the purpose of accidental deletion, you can enable object versioning, and then maybe you can have lifecycle rules, maybe to move data maybe to the Glacier, S3 Glacier after a certain period of time, and all these kind of aspects around it. Then again, what else? I think there's a lot you can think about when you're dealing with these. And then maybe for insights, or maybe if it is, once it is in S3, can you leverage maybe Athena for more other queries, maybe as the
data grows.
Yeah, as the log and the data grows, you might realize maybe log insights might not be able to leverage enough in terms of the power of querying these logs. Yeah, you wanted to say something?
No, it's just I'm just fine.
Sure. So yeah, so that is, but you've really done a very good job. And the thing I love about what you've done is you've really understood the importance of CloudWatch log and log insights, and also creating visualization dashboards through the widgets. So it means that as much as someone might not be able to, yes, if they're not familiar with more complex QuickSight and all these kind of tools, they can still leverage CloudWatch agent and the CloudWatch logs and the log insights to come up with very fascinating insights around their website, which is a very good thing, because what people really want, maybe especially in the executive or even in top management, they ask you these questions. How many people logged in? How many people made a sale? For those who actually who bought something, if they made a purchase, where do those who made a purchase come from, and all these kind of things. So that is what I really love, the fact that you are able to do it. As much as you said there was one task around the query, but that is just about structuring that query, which you're going to still review. We're going to also have a session where I'm going to run the whole clickstream data analytics end to end. The thing is the fact that we also had Mesha, Kalinet, and Roy who are not able to join us today. I wouldn't want to do that today, then preempt, considering how this is a public video. So this is for yours and also for your portfolio and everything. So I wouldn't want to preempt any kind of thing because they have also not done their presentations yet. So, but unless maybe there's anything else you want to share in terms of your learning, I would say as a next step, because I see you still have some budget left in terms of your architecture, you can think around what else can we do? Can you maybe, what more can you do, especially in terms of the AWS documentation with CloudWatch logs insights, the log groups, and how much more can you really do in terms of leveraging CloudWatch to get even other insights? You can also look at maybe, let's say, how many users were able to get to a point where they were able to make just about to make a purchase, then they left their car. I think you've ever seen that even in an e-commerce application. You leave, you put something in the cart, and then the moment you leave, you're told maybe if you had already logged in, you're sent an email that says you left your cart, you didn't finish your purchase. Would you want to go back? And I've ever seen that. I was even ever sent an email. You put this in your cart. Were you able? What happened? Why are you not able to buy or something? And because people really love that kind of a follow-up, and it is very important. Then again, because you already know security is job zero, try to see how can you harden this architecture? How can you ensure that even if someone is able, maybe let's say, what is in terms of the role, in terms of avoiding a single point of failure? Let's say, can somebody do a DDoS on your website up to a point where, since it is already targeting that one EC2 instance, how are you able to do? Can you leverage maybe something like GuardDuty or web application firewall and all those kind of security tools to ensure that unauthorized attempts, maybe if there's a brute force, if there's all these kind of requests, you're able to also leverage log. Log groups can also help you get some management events, the logs, and you can look at maybe what is happening in terms of your account, and it's going to really help you a lot in terms of that. Unless maybe there's any question, I think you've really done a good job. So as a next step, I don't know whether you'd already done the knowledge check.
No, not yet. I will continue after this.
Yeah, so after this, you'll just continue, get onto the knowledge check, and once you're able to complete, I believe you're going to be awarded your badge. And yeah, I think it has been a nice learning. You've already demonstrated it, and looking forward to what more you can be able to achieve as you now try to move maybe to doing your solutions architect, and maybe any specialty. If you decide, okay, I want to do data analytics or security, you're here. They're here to support you along the way.
So maybe I had a question, maybe how can, maybe these logs, maybe we want to get the size of these logs. Maybe, I don't know if it's in the metrics. Going to the metrics, I go to this log group. Now, I don't know which one to select. Maybe, I don't know if it's this incoming bytes or log events.
So what happens is, with incoming bytes, it's usually used, especially in security, when you're actually, let's say there's a lot of requests that have come up to a point where, for example, you can see that is an Apache access. So maybe you can click graph search after you clicked on incoming bytes. Click on graph search there. So you can see it is telling you that maybe on that date Apache access, maybe you can click on that data point. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
top.
that the one, no, yeah, maybe that one. So you can see the incoming bytes for Apache access was that, and that was on 4th of September. There was the blue and the odd. So it just tells you how much in terms of,
yeah. And
yeah,
also
in
the
terms
log
of,
events.
yeah, the logs events. So when you see an outlier, it can maybe indicate there's somebody trying to, like, there's a security event. There might be a security event in terms of a lot of API calls, a lot of calls to your website, and you're like, I think you're getting it. Maybe
Yeah.
there's a lot of people trying to access, so
Yeah,
it can
that's
think, it can go
much
around
traffic
like,
ones.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now you can think about it. Can it be a brute force attack? How much did that happen? Was it in a very short period of time? And so on and so forth. So that is what incoming bytes. But the easiest way to know maybe the size of your logs is when you have them on S3 and you have the .gz files, because when they are saved on S3, S3 shows you the
Okay.
size. Maybe you can go to S3 and see whether the logs are also showing you back the log in
Yeah,
terms of
the
the size.
2.4.
Yes, so you can see. So that is also once it is there, and also it can tell you depending on the rate, but it usually continuously has, as long as it has that role of put object onto the S3,
Yeah.
you're going to get the latest size, as long as it has that that it is like your CloudWatch has that ability to save data into S3. But I believe you are doing a copy, but you can put it in a
Yeah, it's
way
a
that
copy.
it continuously does that. And you can even leverage something like a Lambda function to
automatically detect in
automate.
case. Yeah.
Yes.
When logs are
Yes.
coming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, welcome. So don't you just do your knowledge check, and once you're done, I believe you're going to finish up, and you're going to, if I can call it, you can graduate from the project, which is a very good thing. And congratulations, keep on learning. I love project-based learning. And as you move on, I would advise you seek opportunities to present your learnings. You can even document. You can decide to come up with a blog to just provide, but you already have a vlog. This video that you are having is already a documentation of what you've done. But sometimes you want to look out for those who love reading than watching. So you can think about doing a step by step and help people maybe leverage these. Are there maybe things that you can download, or maybe can you explain to someone how they can install CloudWatch agent on EC2? There are so many aspects of this project. Yes.
Maybe
Yes.
on the explanation blog part, maybe I can give an overview, not detailed, maybe since maybe this project may be used somewhere else.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
maybe I can
So what I mean is
an
you
overview
can take one part. Yes, you can take one part of the project and use it to explain, or you can give a full overview, and then you can say this one part is part of a larger project where you can leverage CloudWatch to analyze clickstream data. So maybe something like that. But sometimes people want to get value out of your blog. So somebody may be Googling, how can I install CloudWatch CloudWatch agent to log? So once they find your blog, you become of use. They follow you and they subscribe to you because you're giving value. Somebody else might be asking, how can I visualize my logs? Another person may be asking themselves, how can they copy logs onto S3, right? Different aspects, because sometimes people get stuck in one part of something.
One part.
yeah, they don't really sometimes even have the tenacity to do the whole project or to do something, but maybe I get stuck. For example, the way you told me you got stuck in task something, this exact task. So you can see you might have already leveraged the documentation, but or maybe you Googled and tried to look for it, but you didn't get that specific part, of which still the good thing is on my end, I have a full detailed kind of a way of looking at things from the instructor side. So I'll be able to go up to that point and I'll be able to explain to you what that means. So you can think about breaking down that one part that you feel was especially you can leverage the challenges, because the challenges you face, somebody else is going to do this project will face maybe a similar challenge. And since you are the first, there's going to be more who are going to come. Think of it like the way people do the ALX. See, they just search for people who have done a similar project on GitHub, then they maybe fork and try to see what they were able to do so that they can just move on out of that particular task that was very difficult. So same case, a good place to start is where is the challenges that you faced, and you believe that someone who is going to do this project in future is also going to face a similar challenge. So those can be the areas you can have. You can even decide to have a shorter video if you are a video person, and just explain how that part is done, and maybe name it very well on YouTube and call it maybe how to do XXX on this. So you can just make sure, because I ever did a video on when Code Catalysts came out, and I said how to develop a React application on Amazon Code Catalyst. I didn't realize how I've named it was because the moment you Google that, the first video you'll find is mine. So it means that it became optimized such that the moment somebody asks that and they go to videos, they'll find my video. And I actually got around 115, I think 100 to 200 views just because of that. Although my video was around, I wasn't even doing it for the purposes of helping people. I was just doing it to make myself understand, because it was a 1 hour 15 video. No one, I don't believe anyone can sit down and watch me do a project for 1 hour, 1.5 hours on YouTube. So it means that you can also need, also for myself, I'm also thinking about, can I do short videos around 5 to 15 minutes on where I'm seeing people having challenges. Even you're giving me feedback. You're telling me, Kevin, I was not able to do this. I was not able to do that. So I'll be able to create a video so that I don't have to explain. I just give somebody, I did this earlier. You can click on this link. Or William did this earlier. He was one of my former students on this. You can check on this. So that is also the way of trying to become efficient in terms of what you're doing. So that is a good thing you can think about in terms of going forward. It's very important to document your learnings, because the badge may be there, but people don't. I usually say it in Kiswahili wanasema watu watakula badge yako. So so it's better you give them value. Yes, you can have it there. It is very good. You're going to say congratulations, but somebody will derive a lot of value from you when you do a documentation, or even if it's not a technical documentation, but just a walkthrough on what you do, what you did, each and every step, and an overview of what you did. Maybe you can pick some things from your AWS documentation, put it in a post or a LinkedIn article or whatever whichever blog facility, whether it is Hashnode or Dev, then take it away. And also maybe you can decide to, even if you have a command reference, you can put them into some text, some markdown files, and put them on your GitHub or a GitHub gist. And then people can always, when they search on GitHub, they find you gave a solution on that. So that it helps people, maybe, because at the end of it all, we're not expecting people to cram commands. they were expecting them to understand the concepts. So you can think there are so many ways you can create content, and it is that content that will help you become maybe an AWS community builder. It is that content that is going to help you get speaking opportunities at maybe user group meetups and cloud communities, because people will always notice people who give value. So leverage that, and I can't wait, because you'll even have a very easy time when you're applying for the next cohort of AWS community builder, because maybe you are consistent, maybe you're posting. If you have decided it is a blog post, you're posting every week on something that you're learning and giving it in a way that is providing value. If it is videos and you have a channel, it doesn't have to have 1,000 subscribers. Personally, I became an AWS community builder when my channel had less than 100 subscribers. Right now, I think it's getting to around 300 maybe. And I didn't even have so many videos. I only had videos of me taking you guys through the AWS Academy Cloud Foundations program. And I used that to apply for the community builder program. And they accepted it. Why? Because I was delivering value to the community, and they could see it. They could see the way I've named my videos, what I'm talking about in those videos, and how I'm explaining. Anyone is going to come onto YouTube and they are having a challenge with a certain lab in the AWS Academy, they're able to leverage. And that is also the way I also got opportunities to be an early access reviewer of AWS labs. So those things that you do that you think don't matter are the ones that really matter. So you also do it in you do it in diverse ways. Don't just use a single LinkedIn post, because you're not going to expect the AWS community builder to scroll through your profile and look for the valuable things in your profile on LinkedIn for them to accept you. You need to put them in a place where they can easily see all your value in one place. So you can think about that, start strategizing, and just don't do it for an end goal of becoming an AWS community builder, or do it for the purpose of making people gain something. Personally, when I was taking you guys through Cloud Foundation, I didn't even know there's a community builder program. I later on realized way later. Then I said, oh yeah, I can apply this. I've ever done cohort in March. I did another cohort in September. Oh, let me just apply. Today is January, and I've done some 2 cohorts in the far past. No, in the near past. So let me just do this and see what happens. And I didn't even I knew it can go both ways. I didn't have a lot of expectations, but sometimes people see these posts all over LinkedIn. They see, apply today. The AWS Community Builder application program is open. You have only these days to apply. So they see so many people post that they are community builder. So they get anxious when they apply, and then when they don't get that opportunity, they get stressed. I really love. There's a friend of mine, actually 2 friends of mine, who told me. One told me that they didn't apply because they felt that they've not provided enough value to the community for them to deserve. So they decide they are going to retract, do some boot camps, help the community. Then next year is when they are going to apply. So I was really intrigued by that. That was a friend of mine who she is a user group leader. So then another friend of mine told me, and he actually runs a very big community that I became part of. And he told me, Kevin, I applied for the AWS Community Builder program, but I was not accepted. And I knew why I was not accepted. I was not accepted because I've not done much in terms of, yes, I helped start a community, but I'm not the one creating content in that community. So I've decided I'll be deliberate. I'll now be doing my own content that I can use to apply for the community builder come next time it is open. So same case for you. Think about, are you creating content by yourself? You can be part of a community and you're seeing a lot of content fly left, right, and center, and you think it is your own. It is not yours. It is those people who have created it. So create your own content, genuine content. Don't just copy something from AWS documentation and repost it again and you think you're creating content. Let us feel your voice let us see the William Minor signature in that blog post. We see it in your way of typing or maybe in your way of saying things, such that even somebody wants to come back, they see you posted something, they say, I am going to come back to it. When I see his next video or his next blog post on LinkedIn, I have to click on it and post it. And you can decide to have it in a small ritual. You can decide in a very small way. If you're going to do a blog post, you say, I'm going to be doing maybe blog Mondays or something. There's a certain friend of mine, I think you've ever seen him. I usually comment a lot on his posts. He's called Mike McDonald. He usually posts 2-minute Tuesdays. Every Tuesday for 2 minutes, he explains a very small concept, or maybe not let me not say small, but a very short, concise concept. Maybe he decides he's going to talk about VPCs. Tomorrow he's going to talk about serverless or Lambda for just 2 minutes and explains and starts in a very funny way. He says, hi, welcome. I've just, don't look at my t-shirt or don't look at my background today. Then he starts explaining. Then he finishes up saying that I just finished on time and I hope you've learned this. Then he gives a full summary of what he talked about. Every time it gets to Tuesday, I feel like there's something that is missing. Then I remember, I've not seen Mike McDonald's post on Tuesday. So I think even he didn't post this Tuesday. And then he called it, I think, Wednesday something. He said he just bought a new laptop or something. So you can see I've already become his fan. And if that person decides to apply for AWS Community Builder program, and I saw he has decided to do something very strategic. All the videos that he was posting on LinkedIn, he has now created a YouTube channel around it. You can search him on LinkedIn. He's called Mike McDonald. So you can see that that YouTube channel is the one that is going to use to do what? To apply for the AWS Community Builder program or something. So, and it is delivering value, because sometimes he might post a lot of things on his LinkedIn, so you don't have time to filter out only the 2-minute Tuesdays. So he has put it in a way that you can easily look at everything that he was talking about in every Tuesdays ever since I knew him. I don't know when he started to do it, but you can decide to have your own way of doing things. You can just brainstorm and decide, I want to do this. Then you focus on one area. For example, like personally, I'm trying to now focus my energies around dev tools, DevOps, and DevSecOps and security. So I want to do more of learnings around DevOps and projects around DevOps and implementing security in a CI/CD pipeline, Circle CI, Terraform, and all these kind of things. So the only way I'll be able to grow in that area is by doing more posts and videos in that area, because they say the best way to learn is to teach. So you might just go through a video or even find a lab. Like right now, I saw there's a new lab that has been released on cloud migration. Did you see that? A free builder lab. You are muted. You can, yeah.
I think I've seen that lab.
Yeah, personally, I have not tried it. So it is something that you can do it and become the first people and do a blog post around it and say, these are my learnings, these are the challenges that I underwent when I did it, and these are the way I've overcome. And people love that. People love your own story. So I think we can leave it at that, because time is far much spent, unless maybe you want to say something.
No, it's just,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just fine. Thank you for the tips. We'll see how we can implement them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have said
So,
you will do the You have said
Yeah, we'll do the lab. We can decide to do it maybe Saturday. I don't know how your schedule is, because I'm having a tricky schedule this week up until Friday. So maybe we can decide to do it on Saturday, same time. Then we go through. I hope the other people who are like Meshach and everyone will be ready to present if they're going to present. If not, I think I will become harsh and remove people from the course for those for there's something about finishing what you started. So what I usually do, if somebody doesn't finish something in the time, you already know how you do things. If you don't finish it in 5 weeks, you're done. If you don't finish it in the time we agreed, so that next time I think this thing about people, if let's say, William, you had paid, let's say, 10,000 shillings for you to do this to this Clickstream data project, to have access to it and to do it and get your learnings. I'm sure if you hear this presentation even at 12 in the midnight for you to graduate, you'll wake up and do it, right?
Yeah, it's a must.
Because you'll have two pains. You'll have the pain of not completing and the pain of losing your money. So sometimes when people get something for like, let's say, at no cost, although in the moment it is nothing for free, because even if you're getting something for free, somebody else has paid for it, right? There are some people who are paid by AWS to come up with this project end to end, right? So you can see, as much as sometimes people don't value something when they get it for free, in quotes. So I usually don't like that. So personally, the only way I only try to inflict pain is making someone lose access to it. Then they'll realize. Just sometimes they say you never know what you got until you lose it. So that is the only way. I tell you, like, I think there was a certain guy who failed to finish cloud foundations, and I actually removed everyone who didn't finish it from the course access. And the next time it was open, hey, actually was the first to finish because I think it was really painful to start something and not finish it. And that is the thing we need to do. Yeah. Yes, I want to say something.
No.
Yeah. So basically that is, I really love your way of execution, such that you start something and you finish it. Personally, you can see I slept at 4 a.m. 4:10 a.m. I had the excuse of telling you we can do this another time, right? But the moment we agreed, I honor agreements. I honor when 2 or 3 people sit down and agree on something. It's very important to see it through. Considering we'd agreed on 9th of September, we are going to do presentations. Come what may, that should have happened. I even looked at my schedule. I realized, damn, this jam is starting at 11 p.m. and it's going to end at 3 a.m. What will I do? And I did it, and I said, okay, as long as I saw that I'll be having around 6 hours of sleep, I'll still, although it became 5 hours, it's going to be something. So always see through. They usually say when you burn the midnight oil, the results will always be seen in the morning. So I'm sure whatever you presented to me has been a result of you pushing yourself and looking for time for you to make for the project. Serious time. I'm sure you didn't spend less than 4, 5, 6 hours for you to complete this project. Sometimes going through documentation, after you read all of it, you realize it's not going to help you in the project, maybe, but you've learned something. And maybe trying to look for that one code and all that one thing to create that widget. So that is the whole process and the pain of learning. But the moment the results come out, somebody can see it when you present. So I'll leave it at that because I have several other sessions today. I think there's one that was about to start. There's another one that is starting. I don't know whether you follow this guy called Ashish on LinkedIn. he has this program called BSA, Become a Solutions Architect. So he's going, yeah, I don't know if you follow him.
I think I don't have.
Yeah, so it's called Ashish.
You can share the
And
link.
I'll share with you the link to his profile, and then you can see. I think he was about to start. I think usually starts at around 11, and yeah, I think you can see he's also already just live 10 minutes ago. Let me share with you the link. So so I can share via copy. Then I think I can share to the cohort group so that anyone wants to join can join. Yeah, so the program is called Become a Solutions Architect, and it is really, really, really interesting. So that is what I want to join in. Then at 12, I have the usual user group Kigali group. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, I got accepted. I'm going to be doing a lightning talk for AWS Community Day Zimbabwe. So I'm so happy about that. I'm also going to have a session, I think, in October for security for the user group Kigali Bootcamp. And I'm also been invited for a Twitter space. I don't remember when it is. I have it in my calendar, but sometime also in October in security, because October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And most probably I might be going for the nationals for the CAS and Huawei Cybersecurity Bootcamp. So you can see all these opportunities come because you deliver value, you give people value. So when you apply, you sometimes get that opportunity and you get accepted. So as I've told you, I want you to grow into, because I already feel your passion, make other people feel it, right? Make other people know it through your video. You can don't be as in, don't fear opening a YouTube channel. Personally, I think I had a YouTube channel that had 10 subscribers for almost 2 years or something with no content or something. So don't worry about the numbers. Then you wonder like, well, will ever people will, because you're not doing it for people, you're doing it for yourself. Personally, I said, Mimi, I'm doing that channel not as a content creator, but for where I can look back and say, I did this bootcamp, or these are the recordings. I did this AWS Academy Cloud Practitioner cohort. Yeah, it is here on YouTube. So those are some of the things. Then later on, I realized, oh, Kumbe, I'm doing value because I'm seeing anytime because I never tell people subscribe to my channel. I just tell them, here's the link to that video that I did that. Then I'm a subscribe. Being that anataka kuona more of my videos. So when you do it like that, it becomes unaacha kujieka pressure. You don't even worry whether you'll ever get to see 1,000 subscribers and all these other things, and people are really, I mean, although Mimi sijafikiria about TikTok, I don't think I can do that kind of thing right now. But think about what you want to do. Kama videos is your thing, of which I see videos is your thing. Do more videos. Do short. Do long. Share on your LinkedIn. Share to us on the communities, and people will notice that consistency. People will notice that value, and sooner rather than later, many things will come your way. Personally, I think I have right now how many? 1, 2, 3. 3 AWS certification vouchers. Time ya kusomea ndio sina. Like I have all that. I got one for graduating from AWS New Voices, of which I've not even posted a thank you video for that. I mean, a thank you LinkedIn post for that, which it has to be a video because it was on public speaking. I have one because of reviewing AWS Academy Labs. They awarded me with one, and also have one that I've not applied for the AWS Community Builder program. So you can see, if I decide to become today 5 by AWS certified, it is easy. Or even if I decide I want to do an exam and if I fail, I have another opportunity because I have another I have another voucher. But for the one for New Voices, I decided to go hard on it, and I decided to apply for a professional level or specialty. I want to do the security specialty certification very soon. So I want to do maybe 2 AWS certifications before the year ends, maybe developer associate and security specialty. And maybe next year, I will now decide to do some maybe DevOps engineer professional. I want to flow in that line. Yeah, so you can see you have to have a goal. Think of yourself. What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? And I'm not doing the certifications for the certification's sake. That is why you can see I can never put in my LinkedIn profile how many times I'm certified. Najua not on Ekanga 3 by 9 by 10 by me. I don't believe in my value is in the number of certifications I have. My value is in the projects I've done or the things that I do. But people have different ways of putting things, so I respect them. Maybe it is a way of making people respect you. I don't know, but yeah. So do have a strategy. I know, look out for challenges. Like right now, I believe there is now that AWS Emerging Talent community. Did you join it where you can get?
I'm already, yeah.
Yeah, so be active on it. At me, there's a day I decided to become so active. I got to 2,000 points. I think I don't know if I've gotten to 2,000 points. I think I'm around 1,900. Yeah. I also want to get that voucher. Sitatosheka na vouchers. So then
shida ni kusahau hizo daily points.
Yeah, exactly. Hizo za hata mimi nimesahau, na kila siku na bakingi na claim 5 peke yake 5 na 10 alafu narudi tena 5.
Unarudi
So but it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We are going to there's one challenge nimekuwa nikitafuta for me to go to level ya Rockstar, because I only have one badge left to go to Rockstar level. Na ninaitafuta tu, hata mimi tunaenda hivyo tu. So it's all about na pia kuna my challenge to you, the next thing you need to do, ingia AWS Educate. Did you see that build a lab that is intermediate?
I haven't seen it. I will.
Yeah, log into AWS Educate. It is the only pink card of AWS Educate. It's called Builder Labs. It has so many labs around security. No, let me not say so many, zinaweza kuwa kidogo to you. So like ziko kama around 5, some on DynamoDB, another on security, KMS, and all these. So please make sure you do it and you finish. Actually, I think nilimaliza juzi. I think I shared the badge on LinkedIn the other day. So it's a very good lab. The good thing is also it's like AWS Academy. You don't need an AWS account for you, and it is a lot practical. And then they also have something that I'm following called professional services. It helps you in maybe resume creation, cognitive skills, soft skills, individual professional skills. So I saw that I got that opportunity through Emerging Talent Academy. Community. It says that you can do those professional skills. It's not technical, but they are very important in helping you, because lazima ujue kuandika CV, lazima ujue kuandika cover letter. You have to know all these kind of things. Yeah. So please check that, the technical part of AWS Educate, and the other part, which is soft skills part and resume creation and all those it's called professional skills on AWS Educate. They are all there. So usikae tu kwa Emerging Talent community, pia unaenda ile side nyingine I'm on a target. I want to finish all those courses that are offered on AWS Educate, nimalizane nazo zote. So nimalize Cloud Essentials nini. So inabaki tu akitengeneza mpya, I now get onto that new one. Sawa. Tuachie hapo, acha mimi niingie hiyo meeting ya Ashish.
Okay.
Okay, nice time. Okay, let me just stop the YouTube. You have the channel, so you have the link to the YouTube. You need it here.